Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 4 of the Underground Kings podcast. Today, I am joined by RJ Jenkins.
Hey, what's going on?
Founder of Jenkins Signs. RJ, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So let's go ahead and delve on into Jenkins Signs. I know that's your current venture and what consumes a mass majority of your life.
Very much of my life is consumed by the sign shop. So my venture started back in 2005 to 2008. I worked for another sign shop that was local to Conway, and this lady brought me in through a transitional period. She had bought into a sign shop, and they were kind of making a transition, and she hired me on as one of her first staff members. So came in with zero experience whatsoever.
How old were you at the time?
Oh gosh, that was 2005. So, 22-ish, probably something in that ballpark. And, so no experience whatsoever, just was looking for a job. I was unemployed. I had a buddy of mine refer me over. So I went over and started working, for her and just absolutely fell in love with the gig. And then of course we know the story of 2008, the big recession crash. And I was $4 a gallon of gas like it is now. The economy crashed, and then we had to shut down the business. And I was actually, crazy story, I was the last employee there before we shut down. Even the owner was collecting unemployment before I was. So I had to figure something out. So I decided to go back to school because I'm a big numbers guy and people person. So I was like, what do I do? So I went back to Coastal, got my degree in finance after the long journey back. After I went to school and dropped out because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then went back to Coastal and got my degree in finance and tried all these jobs under the sun. You know, I worked for State Farm. I worked for banks. I actually worked for Edward Jones. I was a financial advisor. I knocked on doors and met people out there and tried to sell them on investing their money, and just never really found a passion for it. So I just kind of worked my way through it, ended up with a mortgage company and doing the back end of document collection for a loan officer here in town. And we made another transition. He switched from one company to another, and I stayed on with the company we were initially with. And I got fired, essentially, is what happened. I was working with them, and I was working for 3 loan officers, and they all wanted to take up 8 hours of my day. But obviously we know that there's not 8 hours for each one of them to give. So I'd go to their boss and said, hey, I can only delegate, if you got 3 guys, do the math, 2, 4, 6, 2.5 hours a piece is what I can really delegate to each one of your loan officers. And I don't think they liked it too much. So they ended up, sending me on my way. But in the meantime, I had purchased a plotter, just a vinyl cutter back in the day, and I was just trying to make a little side money. That was back in 2015. So I was running that from 2015 to 2018 as kind of a way to just make side hustle,
Yep.
And I loved it. People would ask me to make stuff for their Christmas presents, like stickers for their tumblers or whatever. But like I said, I ended up getting fired from my job as a loan officer or loan officer assistant, and then just took that opportunity to, again, collect unemployment, which I hated to do, but I used that opportunity to launch my business into a different direction. It was either go to work for somebody else and make them money, or kind of start my own thing and then start making money for myself and not give somebody else the opportunity to invest all of my time into their company and then just to have it ripped out from under me. So that's kind of my venture on how that started. So that was, like I said, 2018 is when I took my business full time, and I've been just rocking and rolling ever since.
You've definitely been rocking and rolling from what I've seen.
Yeah.
It's actually funny you mentioned the vinyl cutter, because I don't know if I got around to telling you, but that was my first taste of entrepreneurship. I was in college, and a buddy of mine said, how can we make some quick money? I had been watching YouTube videos on how to get rich quick and all that good stuff. And decided to buy a vinyl cutter. And we said, well, we can do custom shirts. And we were both looking at, the total price tag, all the equipment for the cutter and the heat press was like, I don't know, I want to say like $600 total.
Yep.
And then whatever vinyl that you'd need, to print shirts, or you just order it when the order comes in. And we were kind of hesitant. We put it off for almost a whole end of a semester when I had this business idea. I'm like, let's do this. Like, we'll go halves on it. It'll be great. We'll make tons of money. And come next semester, so we were both in a fraternity. And our fraternity came to one of the meetings and said, hey, guys, we don't have any shirts or anything. And we got to get some shirts made.
Here we go.
And I remember looking across the table at him out of the corner of my eye. I see him look back. The second we locked eyes, I go, yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but Frank and I here, we actually just launched our own, custom t-shirt business, our printing business. And we'd be happy to do the order, We'll take it on. I said, cool, we need the shirts next week for some homecoming or something or other. So I said, yeah, no problem. I get back to my dorm room, and I'm sitting there. He comes over. I say, Frank, we gotta get this equipment like yesterday. So, and let alone we'd never operated it, no clue how to use any of it.
Right.
And so went on Amazon, figuring 2-day shipping, maybe we'll get lucky. Ended up finding the equipment with 2-day shipping, and all the vinyl in the colors that we would need, all the shirts from Colden that we would need. So we ordered all the stuff, all the equipment, everything. Come, like I said, we ordered with 2-day shipping. Come day like 5 or 6.
Oh no.
And it still wasn't there.
Oh no.
And we were just sweating. I was like, oh boy, this isn't good. And meanwhile, everybody was probably under the impression that we were like finalizing, making them, like boxing them up for them.
Yeah, you're
like
just putting final touches on
it. It was the day before they needed the shirts. And I got a notification from Amazon that said, your package has been delivered. I said, oh my God, that's awesome.
I'm going home right now.
So I take off for the post office. I call him up. I say, hey, I need your help, like carrying this shit. There's like, $50, or 50-pound heat press. There's the 30-pound vinyl cutter. So we grab this stuff. We bring it up to my dorm room, get all the vinyl, everything. We unpacked it all, set it all up, and we're buzzing at this point. And it's probably 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. So we get it all set up and we say, well, we have no idea how to even operate this stuff.
Right.
We have no idea what we're about to get into. And this has got to be done tomorrow or delivered tomorrow, So we decided, all right, well, being the college kids that we are, we might as well put it off a little longer. So we went and got some dinner.
Oh, geez.
Got some beers, went back to the dorm and said, all right, let's watch a YouTube video on how to run this stuff and figure it out. And our first, I don't know who to thank for it, but our first, vinyl cut sheet came out and weeded properly. And we had no idea how. We were just like, well, now we just replicate that. So we ended up staying up until like 2 or 3 in the morning, doing that entire order, boxed it up that next morning, delivered it. Yeah. And by that time, we didn't even want to go to the event that our fraternity was throwing. We were just like gassed out.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of, I guess, a long tangent, but
no, there's a steep learning curve when you're coming into something you've never worked with, whatever cutting program or whatever you had, trying to figure out how to do the design work, then send it to the cutter, and then make sure I don't even know if, I'm sure the YouTube video tells you, but on stuff like heat transfers, you have to cut it in reverse.
Well, yeah, correct.
So
we definitely didn't do that at the start.
The first time, even still, if I get like heat transfer, because I don't do a lot of heat transfer stuff, I'll always cut it like standard, and then I go back and I'm like, well, crap, this is not going to work because it's going to do the reverse. So I've
definitely wasted at least a couple $100 worth of vinyl cutting like that.
Easily.
I was happy to get out of the business, though. I'll say, it was never something I took all that seriously.
Yeah.
And probably one was because of my age. Mm-hmm. I think I could, if somebody asked me to do it again now, I would approach it completely differently. And I think I could probably make a very successful business out of it. But, you kind of come in, with Jenkins Signs, you come in you focus, you're very niche down on what you're offering. You're not coming in like a lot of these promotional product businesses and saying, well, we'll put your logo or a design on anything.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you guys don't do that.
Absolutely not. Right now, the business I work out of a 2-car garage, essentially. I'm not a large business, but I don't mentally think of myself as a small business, So we take on a lot of big projects like vehicle wraps and real estate signs, big site signs, stuff that is illuminated. We don't do the electrical side of the business, so we won't go up there and actually currently we won't do retrofit LEDs or something like that. I mean, we have companies that we work with that will help when we're already in a sign, something like that. But most of what we do is stickers, wraps, graphics, banners, the smaller scale of sign shop stuff. So that's kind of where we've landed as of right now. And of course we're gonna ramp that up over some time, but we're gonna kind of grow organically through that.
Right. Speaking of which, I mean, you guys just did the Blades marketing sign here at the new office.
Yep.
Gotten a lot of compliments on that. So thank you once again.
Absolutely.
But you guys, it was a simple, I reached out to you, said, hey, this is what I need.
Yep.
And within an hour you had 2 different designs in the exact dimension. You stopped in, got the dimensions.
Yep.
I had everything I needed within an hour.
Yep.
I said, oh, can you change this around? He sent me another one. I said, nah, let's go with the original. I was, going back and forth, probably not making it the easiest process.
No, that's what we do though. I think the biggest thing that I try to make sure that we do as a business is I consult. There's a lot of shops that are out there that are just there to collect your money.
Yep.
You tell them, I want this, and they'll make it just like that, instead of saying, why don't we look at it this way to make sure that we grow your business? Because essentially, repeat business is what my bread and butter is. It's not the initial business. I want you to grow your business exponentially so that I'm not getting your first paid. I'm not getting your first job. I'm getting your 15th, your 16th, your 20th, your 100th job. And I'm growing. I just did a guy's 4th company vehicle yesterday. So trying to make sure that we do things with intention, making sure that it's marketing properly, making sure that just a vehicle wrap is not going to advertise for you. It has to be done properly. We don't do a ton of them, but when we do them, we try to make sure that the client knows there's 3 major important things when it comes to your advertising with your signage, especially on a vehicle. It's who are you, what do you do, and how do I reach you? Everything past that, I've always said, is almost irrelevant, because going 60 miles an hour down the road, you don't have time to get that other information. I don't do this company's wraps, but I think they're some of the best in town. Vines Plumbing. You see one of Vine's trucks 5 miles down the road and you know exactly who they are. So the way they've branded it, the way they've marketed it, I mean, just the color alone. So I've kind of taken a page out of their book. Everything I have is a very specific blue, like my shirt, and I've got shoes on that match it. It's on my truck. It's on my knives that I use at work. Everything that I have is got some sort of blue in it. And it's one of those things where I'm trying to encourage my clients to find something and stick to it. Buy into your brand. That's the biggest thing, is buy into your brand. And then, like I said, who are you? What do you do? How do I reach you? Everything else will come.
That's right.
It's irrelevant.
Another truck company I think of immediately off the bat as well is Monarch Roofing.
Yep.
I recognize their trucks every time I see them.
Yep.
You immediately know who they're with.
Them, Healthy Home, they have a teal color trucks. Mr. Fish, the window cleaning company, they have red vans that are all over the place. I mean, stuff like that. UniFirst, UPS.
Right. Yeah. I mean, exactly.
All these major companies are picking and branding off of a color, and it's simple. You just find something and stick to it, and just
right. The number of people that want to have their logo. It's the same with billboards too.
Oh gosh.
Is they want their logo, a picture of them, their phone number, all their social media tags, this information, this call to action. And in reality, you're asking people to do a million things while they're driving.
Yeah. They think because the billboard's so big, I can put more information on it. I'll tell you that the billboards that I remember the most are Budweiser ones that said thirsty with a question mark and got milk.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah, you're not wrong.
Or the is it Coastal? It's one of those ones that has the faces on them about advertising on their billboards. Like, it's actually the billboard company that keeps them simple.
Correct.
So it's like, take a page from the guys that are actually selling you the ads because they sold it to you.
Right.
So, I'm a big proponent of keep everything as simple as possible, because once you start getting too much information on there, I mean, I could have brought in 2 business cards and had like my business card versus somebody else's. Mine has my name and my phone number on it. And then I could have brought you somebody else's that has, this is what we do, and this is all of our services, and this and that. But if you were to sit them down at like one of these restaurants and set them on the counter, I can guarantee you they're going to pick up mine first.
I agree. I also think I want to go back to something you said.
Sure.
I find it very intriguing. This is actually one of the core reasons why, after meeting you and also hearing about you through Kyle,
Sure.
I knew immediately that I wasn't going to work with just any sign company. I was going to work with yours. And that is the fact that when you work with a client on any project, doesn't matter how big or how small, whether it's business cards or a big sign to go on the exterior of their building, you work with your clients in a way that you pride yourself on the results that they're going to get from the product and service that you're selling.
100%. 100%. It doesn't matter. Like, I want you to be 100% satisfied whether I make one pencil for you or one business card for you, or I do a gigantic order for you. Like, there's no sense in doing the job if it's not done right.
That's the way I was brought up.
I mean, that's just, it's common sense to me, but it's not common sense to everybody. For some reason, I don't know why, but
I think it is. I think a lot of people all know that that's the way that business should be conducted, especially when you're doing business under your name,
right? And
you're putting your name to something. But it's a harder thing to do. You have to actually think more about it. You have to put more effort into what you're doing.
Yeah.
And for you, if you were to just, hey, I need the Blades marketing sign on the interior. I'm looking to do vinyl. Here's my logo. Can you guys have this up in a week? Okay, cool. And you just put it up. If you came, just threw it on there, whatever it may be, there wouldn't be that hard of a process. It'd be A to Z, done, collect your check, move on. You came, you walked in, and as you were putting up the signs, you're pointing out other areas in my business where, you might want to think about maybe something there, or I like that, or, this sign, I think I like that we ended up going in the middle of the wall as opposed to the right side. I think it adds a little bit of, a centralized look to the place, and you're planning on building this section out and this section, so it's kind of going to complement those.
Right.
It was, you tailored the whole conversation to exactly what I needed and what I was looking for.
Right.
And then added value on top of that.
Yeah.
Not once did you ask me to purchase another sign or do another thing. It was simply, you were just adding value to the service that you were already providing. And over delivery is definitely the word I think about when I think about Jenkins Signs.
Hey, I appreciate it for sure. I try to approach your business like I would mine. And, I know that you're going through the same struggles that I've gone through as a new sign shop owner. Like, I've been in it since 2018, but it hasn't been where it's at now the whole time. It's been a struggle, and I know what it's like to start my own business, because I did. And I've had 0 entrepreneurs in my family up until now.
Same here.
So my parents graduated high school, never went to college. My brother went to high school, never graduated college. Had 0 entrepreneurs. They all went to work for somebody else. And that's what I did. I thought that's what we were supposed to do. And I kind of got pushed into being an entrepreneur, and I'd never go back. But kind of going back to, your sign out here in the lobby, other shops, and I don't try to talk bad about other shops, because there's plenty of great shops out there. I mean, I can refer you to other shops that I would be 100% confident in that would do a good job for you. But when I came in here, I feel like it's important to look at what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish, and that actually like tailor those things to it. People might just see, it's a simple piece of vinyl on the wall. Well, no, that is a specialty vinyl that is made to be removed from the wall, that doesn't take the drywall off when you take it off later. And it is on a matte film. So if you want to take pictures or something like that in there, it's not going to be shiny and unlegible whenever you're taking pictures out there with clients. So like we have to think through all of those steps when we're working on certain things for you, just because otherwise it's not going to work and you're not going to be unhappy. So that's one of the things that we try to, again, make sure like this is how we would want it for our business. So that's how I approach everything.
To be able to take pride in your own work is very important.
Absolutely.
Like you, at the end of the day, if you don't take pride in your work, then you're just, I feel like you're just living a monotonous life.
Yeah. I think that's the difference too of you're trying to make money versus build a brand or build a business.
Bingo.
It's the absolute difference maker is I'm just out here trying to make $1. Well, obviously that's the case because that's the product you put on my wall. That's not for me. Like I said earlier, I want your repeat business. I want to see your business grow because that means I'm doing my job properly. At the end of the day, that's how it works. We all are in it to help each other grow. You're in here, you're doing marketing and you're helping people with their marketing needs or Facebook and advertising and that type thing. And that's one avenue of the marketing. Mine's on the actual visual side of out in the streets and
correct. I can push, my agency can push traffic for a business. We can push foot traffic, online traffic, whatever it may be. If we're pushing online traffic, we can push all the traffic in the world.
Yeah.
If your website looks like shit,
yeah,
end of story. If we push all the foot traffic to your restaurant and you serve terrible food,
yeah,
end of story. And signage plays a role in that, especially, when it comes to someone's first impression walking in your place.
Yeah. Or if they can't find you because you don't have a sign up front.
Well, that's exactly right. Because I got the door sign too. So people finally have started, since you put that door sign up as well, I don't get restaurant goers walking through the door anymore in the middle of conversations with clients or while I'm on the phone or whatever it may be. Not that it bothered me that awful much, but it's just little things like that. And also, when a client comes to meet with me, they do, even from afar, it's funny, recognize that small BM logo on the door.
Yep.
And that makes a difference. That changed, the way that I'm able to conduct business. And now, if I'm able to conduct business better, when I eventually have the ribbon cutting ceremony here and that sign's up, anybody I get compliments on that sign every time somebody comes in.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I really like that.
Yeah.
I immediately tell them where I got it from.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, I know that you're big in marketing and I'm big in marketing, but the biggest one is word of mouth.
Absolutely.
Word of mouth advertising is, if you do a good job for somebody and you bring them client after client after client after client, they're going to refer you tenfold over with all that you've done for them. So
precisely, especially when your business model, like both of our businesses, is fundamentally centered around providing results. When you pride yourself on the results that you can get for other people, for other businesses, it's all just going to come back to you. It's
100%.
So I do sell. Like I initially, especially at the start, I do have to sell to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. But I only do that in certain circumstances, within a certain environment. When I go to networking events, I'm not there to hand out my business card and get people to know what I do for work or whatnot. I want to get to know other people. I want to form genuine bonds, genuine relationships with people. We can be friends first and we can do business later.
Right.
When I'm, shooting a podcast with somebody, I'm just looking to give somebody a platform to have a conversation.
Right.
I'm not necessarily looking to pitch them on renting my podcast studio or coming and working with my agency. It just isn't like that. It's just, my results do the selling for me.
Yeah.
Period. If I can provide phenomenal results for a client, they're going to go sell for me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not for everybody, and I'm sure that you feel the same. Yep. I'm not for everyone, which, my style isn't going to match everybody's style. My truck is loud, like visually, audibly. It's wild. I wouldn't actually recommend somebody to do what I did to my truck, but I just need people to know that I can do these types of things. That's why it's wild and crazy. But I've actually seen, since I've did my truck, I've seen 2 other sign shops. I got graffiti background on the sides of my truck. I've seen 2 other sign shops. One take graffiti and put it on their truck like it was their idea, and another one put it on a wall. I'm like, hey guys, you know, I appreciate the
it's kind of flattering,
the vote of confidence in my business, but you guys are both bigger businesses than me, so it tells me that like I'm out here doing the right things, you know, because I've got these other companies are great. You know, I'm not talking bad about anybody. I think they do a fantastic job. They do a lot of work around here. But it shows me that I'm doing the right things because I've got these other guys that are watching me and seeing what I'm doing. Not that I think that they think I'm a threat or anything, but I think that they know I'm here and I'm not going anywhere. So
speaking of your truck, I think I'll probably throw a photo of it up here for everybody to see, because that thing is an absolute behemoth. And when you say loud, I don't think people can really even conceptualize just how loud you're talking, both visually and audibly, like you were saying.
Yeah.
That thing is awesome.
Yeah.
What made you want to do that? Did you just say, had you already been doing wraps for clients, or were you like, I got to test this?
No, I'd been doing some wraps for clients, and I wanted to do something that was just absolutely different and not afraid to stand out and like make people look at it. It's funny because I'll go through Walmart parking lot or whatever, and I watch these little kids say, Dad, look at that guy's truck. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what I wanted to do. You know, I wanted people to look at this thing and just be like, that's freaking cool. You know, like the little kid inside of me came out when I was doing this design on this truck. And it was fun, you know, and we put it in. Last year we put it in the Conway Christmas Parade, and I pulled a float that had the whole float was blue in color, and we had like pinwheel style like candies on the wheels and stuff like that. So it's just a lot of fun. We were throwing out candies and stickers and all kind of stuff. I think we passed out 5,000 stickers to the kids at the Conway Christmas Parade. Everybody passes out candy, right?
Yep.
I passed out stickers with my website name on it.
Bingo.
So, and then you're not going to you'll throw away a business card. You'll throw away all kind of other stuff. Kids are going to put a sticker on their notepads or whatever. They're not going to throw it away right away. So I was like, I literally made 5,000 stickers by myself. Just, it was days worth of work. But we passed them all out, and then had a couple giant flags that were riding off the back of my truck. It was incredible.
That's awesome.
Dave Rolls from the Alabama Theater and or Greg Rolls, sorry.
Yep.
He was right in front of us, not the news, Greg, and he's like, "Man, your truck is incredible. Can I get pictures with it?" Like it was just fun, just being out there, and that truck has gotten more attention than anything else that I've done in business. I get more calls off that one thing that I've done than anything.
That's awesome.
So
gotta have Kyle do like a crazy promo video with his FPV drone or something.
Yeah, I actually did I had this idea in my head to do a day in the life of video. It's out there on YouTube, where it's like me waking up in the morning and kind of going through my morning routine and getting in the truck, driving it across town and getting it in the shop, and then us actually wrapping the truck. And then you can see my truck like kind of rolling through the end, and it's got some scenes and drone footage from the city of Conway near the water tower and stuff like that. So it was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's really cool. I got to watch that.
Yeah.
Speaking of morning routines, do you have one?
Not really. Every day is so different with what I do. Some days I can get a little bit later of a start. I can work on emails or this or that. But as far as my daily, you know, I do like to get up and try to go to the gym when I can. Do a little bit of workout, come back home, get a cup of coffee with the wife, and try to start out with a slow, relaxing morning, and then just kind of jump right in. You know, like I said, I work from home currently. Just jump in it.
I know how hectic that can be, for sure.
It's tough because, you know, working from home has pluses and minuses. You know, you can't get away from it when it's time to quit.
Correct.
But also, you can just get up and go to work when it's time to go. So most of the time, it's, you know, we get up and try to start around 8, 9 o'clock, something like that. So
it took me some time, but I mean, eventually the whole convenience factor was just completely overshadowed by the fact that most of the time, I either had a desk set up in my bedroom, and if I didn't, I ended up doing work in there anyways, and I'd go to bed, and it just, I couldn't sleep. I still can't sleep for shit these days, but
yeah,
it's always been a problem of mine, a struggle of mine, and working in there definitely did not help. It was like, I can't shut my brain off.
Yeah. Luckily, like I said, I've got it in a 2-car garage. So like once I shut that door,
there's separation.
There's separation. I stay completely away from all of it as much as I possibly can. Once the machine's shut down and my computer's shut down, I try to shut down. But we both know as entrepreneurs, your brain doesn't ever shut down.
No.
Never.
No. Whether it's an idea for a marketing campaign or a client that you're like, oh, maybe I could ask them if they want to try this or whatever it is.
It never shuts down.
No.
I mean, I'm always trying to figure out new ways of, all right, so I deal with business clients most of the time. Everybody that I work with is business to business. How can I get more into the consumer market where I have, whether I did laser engraving Yeti cups or something like that, what could I do to increase more sales? And that's the thought of the week this week. What am I going to do? I'd love to have a laser engraver. I'd love to have a CNC router. I'd love to have a bucket truck to where I can go up and do the electrical style stuff. And, it's constant. What's next? What's going to be the next move? So
there's no sleep for guys like us.
There's never.
No, it's the ambition. It's having, certain people I truly believe, everybody has ambition to some extent in some direction in life, but some people are just born with just an untamable level of it. It's like no matter how hard I were to try, or you to the sounds of it, I mean, it's just, if the business I'm running today was gone tomorrow, completely disappeared, it'd be what's next, or it'd be something else.
Yeah.
Like there's no end to the ambition. It's not I'm not ambitious because I saw a little bit of success in a business model. Mm-hmm. I'm ambitious. I've been ambitious. I had to do the fact that you started a business as opposed to, you got fired, as opposed to just doing what most people would call, the smart decision and just going and getting another job.
Yeah.
You said, well, this sucks. I'm going to start my own business,
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of already doing it anyways, but like my first year from not being self-employed full-time to the second year, I grew my business 400%. Just because I was able to focus that much time into it. So it was insane. The amount of, it was 300 or 400%, I can't remember. But the amount that when I was able to actually like hone in and focus on, all right, this is what I'm doing. So now I can go out and start promoting, doing Facebook videos or pictures and stuff like that, and really kind of market as much as I can that way. I'm still not good at it. Maybe I could use your help on that.
I'm always, my line's always open to you, for some advice or whatever.
Yeah. So on some of that stuff, but I look back to, what we're talking about is, we don't ever sleep because what's on to the next thing. I don't look at things as being big risks. I look at them as like, say I want to go buy a bucket truck, and that's going to help me do service work on big signs. Like you guys got a sign shop that's 2 doors down from you guys, and they do a lot of stuff, major stuff. Yep. There is a lot that I could do to really grow my business that way, but it's a major expense, right? So I don't look at that as a major risk. I look at it as, how much harder do I have to work in order to make this work?
Yep.
It's not a risk because at the end of the day, there's work out there for everybody. I don't see these guys as competitors. I see these guys as colleagues that are just doing the same thing I'm trying to do to make a dollar. There's plenty of work out there for all of us. If you do a good job, they're not going to call me.
I agree. I think business owners are, when you really boil it down, they're risk analysts. So, they become very efficient at assessing risk. What is the potential risk of a purchase of an investment? I don't look at anything as an expense. I simply look at things as investments, because I'm not going to spend business dollars on something that's just for kicks and giggles. I'm looking to invest my dollars so that it can make a return.
100%.
Grow the business, make things bigger so that I can have the opportunity to bring more people on and give more people the opportunity. And so, it's about, analyzing the risk but you don't dwell on it. Like a lot of people, like that's what really to me separates a lot of people. That's one key indicator that separates, people that gravitate towards being entrepreneurial and those that don't, is the way that they look at risk. We look at risk as far as, okay, here's the risk, here's the dollar amount maybe attached to that, but what's the opportunity? And we focus 90% of our attention on the opportunity.
100%. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Yep.
Like, all right, I invest, let's just say $10,000 on this thing, but I can make $1,000 a week for the next 10 years on this thing. How much of a risk is it?
Exactly.
It's minimal.
Exactly. We're rolling the dice anyways on a day-to-day basis, just choosing to be business owners.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is get really good at knowing when to roll the dice.
Right.
And there's plenty of things that come across my mind. They're like, oh, maybe this would be a good idea. And then I realize, you know what? The opportunity isn't there. Yep. It's not, the risk is too high. It's the ratio between risk and opportunity. So if it's, even if it's a small amount of risk, if it's a small amount of opportunity too, it's still a 1-to-1 ratio maybe. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the 1-to-10 ratios.
Yep.
Period.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I can see you resonating with this.
I am absolutely of the same mindset of if it's too small risk versus reward, there's no sense in even tackling that, because that's just time.
Correct.
That I don't want to waste, where I could be doing something that is actually going to earn me tenfold more than that. If I bought a laser cutter, and I'm making $3 a cup and it takes me an hour to do one cup, there's no way on this planet that I would buy a laser cutter, or that laser cutter for instance. Right. You know what I'm saying? Or a laser engraver or whatever. So,
Yep. It's always looking at things through that lens.
Yeah.
And out of curiosity, so you've been in business how many years now?
So I started in 2018, 2022 now. So 4 years.
4 years. From just to kind of reflect back on kind of from when you started your business versus now, is your thought process around investing back into the business, is it similar, or at the beginning were you much more, kind of reserved as far as that's concerned because you weren't really sure even what to invest in?
I am 100% all in on business. As long as my bills are paid, I don't pay myself outside of that. I make sure that everything funnels back in, because at the end of the day, I'm either going to be able to sell this business off, franchise it, which is another thing that I was looking at trying to do a long time ago, or just grow it for my kids to pass it along to them. It's not, this business is not about me. I'm here to help people, and I'm here to help my family grow, and like other people along the way as well. So it's, yes, I do earn money, and my bills are paid, but as far as like taking on additional for myself, I don't cut myself a paycheck currently. So
I don't either, by the way.
It's all funneled right back in.
And I mean, that's just for those watching this right now to truly grasp what he just said, that he's not currently collecting a paycheck. And there's nothing wrong with collecting a paycheck.
No.
I think it's actually a good thing to collect a paycheck, but I mean, I'm not either. Yeah. But the fact that you're not collecting a paycheck, and a couple of moments ago, you just mentioned you're 4 years in business, and you're still in that frame of mind.
Yeah.
Because you're building this thing, because you're not, obviously maybe you have another income from your wife.
Yep.
So you're able to do that, and, but being in that position to do it and doing it are two totally different things.
Yep.
And you're actually doing that, and it's because you see what a true entrepreneur sees, and that's the opportunity that your brand, that Jenkins Signs has as a business model as a whole. You're already thinking, I hear you using the franchise, potentially selling the business.
Yeah. I mean, My ultimate goal was to figure out a way to how to franchise my business by using interns. And I know that sounds crazy, but I had the mindset of, all right, let's look at some college interns that are in graphic design or marketing or something like that would love to be involved in the sign business, because I didn't know I loved the sign business until I got in it. I really didn't. I had no clue about it. Like, I loved art growing up in high school. I did 4 years of art class, high school. And then I kind of got out and, like I said, just started my own thing. But if I knew I had an opportunity to become like a franchise, Fast Signs is a franchise company.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yep. So they're all over the country. So you could go in and buy into a Fast Signs franchise. But what I would have liked to have done is kind of done the same thing where, all right, let's say you're an intern at Coastal and you are looking for a summer job. You come in and work for me year one, and you work for me all 4 summers. You're like, man, I love this, but I don't have the opportunity to make this into a business, and I'm getting ready to move back to, let's say, Virginia. Okay, great. Let me buy the equipment. You run the shop.
And you would take an equity stake?
And I'd take an equity stake.
That's genius. Do you know if there's a company that does that right
I don't know. I don't think there is.
Do you want that in the podcast?
I don't know.
That's really a
genius move.
It's a genius model.
Especially, like, you don't have to pay interns. I would obviously pay an intern.
I'm the same way, out of just respect for the individual.
Sheer respect. Like,
not to mention what's the product you're going to get.
Right. Because I literally could set you up for a lifetime dream of whatever. And then if you wanted to buy out at the end of 10, 15, 20 years or whatever that I decide for my franchise, then there's a franchise buyout clause for $100,000 or whatever.
Nope.
Say I got 5 of those when I'm 65 years old.
Yeah. Right.
Here's $500,000.
And
or I get 10% of your business for.
I wouldn't think that you would even have to go, the college student route. I would think there'd be so many kids coming out of high school that have no clue what they do and just need a little bit of direction, or just need some trade or some kind of thing where they're almost coming in as like an apprentice to you.
Right. Because you don't need a college degree to do what I do.
Precisely.
You don't. I mean, I'm going to say something that's going to really make a lot of people mad. You don't need a college degree.
Absolutely not. I have a 4-year degree that I got in 3.5, bachelor's in marketing and business administration. And it didn't teach me shit. I have a piece of paper and some fantastic college debt to show for it.
Yep.
And that's all I have.
I have a degree in finance and I make stickers for a living. That's what I tell people all the time. I have a degree in this piece of paper that collects dust that sits on my wall in my shop that has nothing to do with the business. I mean, I did learn some things that I can use for my wealth growth through college, which, okay, great. But I could have learned that on YouTube as well.
Well, lucky you. I learned what? In the marketing curriculum today is the same marketing curriculum they were teaching 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So when I was in college, I got a 1.5 years in, was very into this entrepreneurial stuff, was, delving into that t-shirt company. And then I stumbled upon the business model that was a digital marketing agency. And I became obsessed with it immediately. I gravitated towards it. The reason I was going to school for business, and then I decided to add marketing because I felt a pull towards the marketing curriculum. And basically I found this business model. I said, this resonates with me to a T. And they're talking about actually applicable stuff in the market today. And so 1.5 years in, I was obsessed with this thing, went home, asked my parents if I could drop out, more or less told them I wanted to. My mother gave me full support. My father looked like he was about to have a heart attack, so I figured I'd save him the heart attack and I'd finish. And that's a bit of an exaggeration, but not really. So I finished college, but I told myself, I remember one pivotal moment for me was I was sitting in a marketing class. This was an advanced marketing class. And we had spent the prior 2 weeks towards the end of the semester. So the curriculum's supposed to be, picking up. we had spent 2 weeks talking about posters and flyers. I just was in complete and utter disbelief. I said, well, this is great because this is the excuse that I've been looking for.
Yeah.
I'm watching YouTube on my laptop and reading blogs and reading books.
Absolutely.
While in class for the rest of the time that I'm in school. Yep. It's not hard anyways.
No.
At least it wasn't for me. It is for some people, but you
Right.
know, I was blessed with, you know, the memorization and things like that just come easy to me. So
it's nuts.
College degree, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody needs one. You don't need one to succeed. A lot of people, it depends on what you want to do. You know, if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a doctor, guess what? You need the college degree and the college education in that route. Absolutely.
Doctors, lawyers, CPAs.
Bingo.
What else?
Yeah, right.
Educators.
Right. You know how many of these colleges, they just come up with, I swear they create new majors every year just to be able to attract kids that shouldn't be and normally wouldn't be going to college. It's only a matter of time till they have one like carpentry major. Yeah, come learn in a classroom about carpentry. Meanwhile, all of the other kids who are smart enough go find someone to get around or apprentice under and learn with hands-on experience.
If you want to do that, go to a trade school.
Yes.
Go to tech and learn it in 2 years instead of 4 and get all kind of crazy debt for it. There's crane operators school right now. I mean, pays excellent to be a crane operator. You can get it done in half the time it takes you to get a college degree in business administration with a minor in gender studies or whatever you want to learn about
art.
I mean, come on. Like,
yeah, it's the entire school system from the ground up needs to be completely reformed.
It needs to be rehauled for sure.
Completely. But, you know, there are just so many other.
Yeah, they've learned how to make it a money-making machine, essentially, is all they've tried to do. And they try to appease everybody with their degrees and that they've got out there now. I mean,
and the liberal agenda within school curriculum.
I saw a Subway wrapper that said, "Do not eat this wrapper." Like, if that's what we have to teach our kids, they're not smart enough to know half of the stuff that they're trying to argue about.
If they're not smart enough to do that, then they're not smart enough to be signing paperwork that basically is signing their lives away to tens of thousands, for some 6 figures plus in student loan debt.
Yeah.
Being 18 years old, probably not even knowing what they want to do with their life.
Eating Tide Pods.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
it's ridiculous. So while we're looping around here,
sure.
I have kind of a question that I like to ask everyone that comes onto the podcast towards the end here. And that is, if you had to summarize what the word winning means to you in one word.
Oh, man.
It's a tough one, so you feel free to take your time. But if I said winning, what is one word that comes to mind for you? Take as much time as you need.
I think it's probably easy for me. It's joy.
Joy?
Yeah. If you can find joy in what you do, if you can find joy in your life outside of work, you're winning. Like, success, there's joy with success. If you can figure out a way to find joy in what you do and all that, you're already there.
You're already winning. That's awesome. And if you had, what is a piece of advice that you would give to a younger individual, whether they even know they're entrepreneurial or not? What would be, a piece of advice that you would give to someone that was maybe in your shoes, 10, 15 years ago?
That would probably be taking a look back at what we talked about earlier and do things as if you're doing it for yourself. Don't take the shortcut. Do it the right way. Do it with quality. Don't compromise. And just treat everybody with respect the way you'd want to be treated as far as what you're providing for them. So,
and Give us a little shameless plug for Jenkins Signs. Where can people find you at? Where can they check you out? And if they're looking, depending on what they're looking for,
Sure.
How should they reach out?
Sure. Obviously, we're on the web at jenkinssigns.com. Most of their content comes in through either Instagram or Facebook. So facebook.com/JenkinsSigns or Instagram.com/JenkinsSigns.
RJ, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you all on the next episode.